Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. It is go time, and here you are, and here I am. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Doris. I'm excited about today's show. We're talking about priorities all this week because priorities dictates the vibrancy of our lives. What we say as priorities oftentimes doesn't line up with what we do with our time. And I think getting back into an alignment, making an assessment of where we are, we don't have to beat ourselves up, by the way, but making an assessment of where we are and then going in and readjusting, boy, oh boy, does that ever change things. Let me just tell you, it changes things in a big, big way. So today we're going to be talking again about priorities. I've got a new spin on it, and I've got some really dirty glasses. My husband gives me the worst time about it because he says, every time I pick up a pair of your glasses to put on, I can't see through them. How do you do that? And I said, I don't know. I just see through the blur. Anyway, Jeanette's here too. Hey, Jeanette, I'm so glad you're here. Today's going to be it's going to be a really great day to figure this priority stuff out. I'm going there with you. We all need to do this reassessment from time to time. It's what keeps us clicking on all cylinders, and that's massively, massively important. So anyway, hi, Deborah. I see you. She said she's here. So's Lizzie. Hi, Lizzie. I'm glad you're here. And Lisa, it's been a minute. I'm glad you're here. I just saw your beautiful picture in our Facebook group. Appreciate you posting those selfies, by the way. It's really important, I think. So let's first of all, let's start with buy one, get one. That's our carb cutter, y'all. This is an incredible supplement. I wouldn't be without it. And any time that I want to have a baked potato and I just don't want the carb impact, I'm still going to get the nutrition out of it, but I just don't want the wallop from the sugar, because that's what happens. It just, carbs, even good carbs, become sugar. Even a steak goes down to glucose. It just takes a long time to get there. So we just have to be really cautious about this stuff, especially if we find ourselves gaining around the belly. Our bodies are telling us something, by the way. But this is how we can minimize the impact. And that's buy one, get one free. It's carb cutter. It's made with white kidney bean extract. And we say take 2. I'll tell you right now, off the record, I guess, take 3. That's what the clinical studies have shown to be most effective. So that's why buy one, get one, screaming deal. Get on it. So we have that. The other thing is that we have our Crave Water, which, by the way, is flying out the door again. So if you have Crave Water, if you're starting to get low, go get your Crave Water reordered. If you haven't tried it yet, what the heck are you waiting for? It's lemonade. It's essentially lemonade with L-glutamine. Of course, there's a little stevia to keep it a tiny bit sweet, a little MCT oil, a little citric acid. There's not a whole bunch of stuff. There's mostly L-glutamine in there, but it's a drink that you can tolerate, you'll find delicious, and it'll knock your cravings out like that. Just does. I've got the scientific evidence to support it. Okay? I love it. savingdinner.com/crave water. Everybody I have given it to, I have had a few people test it for me and got their opinions. They loved it. It's delicious. It's refreshing. And now what I do is, this is my 40-ounce water bottle. Isn't that crazy? It's called, some people have asked me, it's called the Owala. Never heard of it before. 40 ounces. And I drink this entire thing when I am playing pickleball because I'm sweating, like crazy. In it, I have my Crave Water. In it, I also have my hot melt mix. So I've got my electrolytes and I've got something that's helping me with my muscles because my muscles get really, really sore. And it is Happy National Pickleball Day. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for noticing. It is. It's true. I think I saw a few more people walk in. I did. I saw Sue there and Alice. Hello, hello. I'm glad you're here. And it is National Pickleball Day, and I am dressed for pickleball. Of course, I had a lesson this morning. Later on this afternoon, I'm going to do some facilitated play for some newbies to help them out. And you know, this is what I love doing is I love helping people do something better. That's why I'm here. Because if I can help you with something and make your nutrition better, make your lives better, I'm all about it. And I will keep showing up. So keep showing up. I'm going to keep blah, 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 blah too. All righty. What else do I have to tell you about? There are so many things going on here at Saving Dinner. We have our Etsy shop, of course. Have you seen it? That's at savingdinner.com/Etsy. I told you about the carb cutter. Did I tell you where to go get it? It's at savingdinner.com/show. Duh. Go get it there. And the Crave Water is at savingdinner.com/guess. Yes, that's right. Crave Water. And don't forget, we always give people who buy $300 worth of products in our store. You know what we say to that? Thank you. And we also give you free shipping if you're on the lower 48, because that is just a real commitment to us and loyalty that I do not overlook. I'm so appreciative, so grateful for you. And believe me, you're in part of my gratitude walks in the morning, or customers like you. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. So we do give that free shipping. Isn't that nice? I think that's nice. How about this? How about this for a quote of the week? And if you don't write this one down, if you don't put this in your journal, why? This one's great. This is Darren Hardy. Remember I told you he used to be the editor of Success Magazine. I was in that magazine like 3 times, by the way. He was also wrote a book called The Compound Effect, which is absolutely excellent. But this is what he said. You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Isn't that the truth? I know this for a fact. For a fact. I know this. Of course, that's true. And if we want to be the women of our own dreams, we want to be the queen of our own lives, then we have to be able to assess what it is that we're doing without beating ourselves up. I will tell you that on repeat every single day. So keep in mind what Darren Hardy has to say. Hi, Kathy. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I know sometimes it was like that. You were looking for me on Good Morning America? Well, hello, I'm not there, but tell them I'm fully willing to go onto their show. They sent me an email one time, I remember, and saying, would you be willing to come on Good Morning America? And I'm like, well, heck yeah. And then they never called. This is typical how this stuff works. Last summer it was Fox News, national Fox News. They were, and then they wanted me available on July 4th. Well, I wasn't answering my emails. So crazy. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about a book that was written in 1989. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You're not going to do this, Lincoln. No, he's sitting here barking. Let me just tell you exactly about this book. This book is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen R. Covey. Surely you've heard of it. Written in 1989. Do you know they sold 40 million copies? 40 million copies. For 5 years straight, it was on the New York Times bestseller list. I couldn't even tell you how many, languages it's been translated into, but it still remains a classic today, even though Mr. Covey, or Dr. Covey, I think he was, passed in 2012. And very sad, he was 79 years old, in excellent health, but he had a bad bike accident, and he basically succumbed from those injuries. So a brilliant mind. He put all of this to work on. I think he had 5 children. And these are the principles, these 7 habits of highly successful people. This is what he implemented in his own home. And I just think, I have a lot of respect for people like this, and I think he was a brilliant guy. Let's talk about the book. One of the habits in the book, as a matter of fact, it's the third habit, is first things first. What do you think that's about? Priorities. Priorities. And he centers that habit on prioritization, time management, and life management. Absolutely critical. Because if you organize and execute your life around your deeply held values, you will hold true to them. If you do that, um, rather than being one of these distracted people who are constantly reacting to their lives instead of proactively going forward with the plans that they have to create the vibrancy that they want. You understand what I'm talking about, right? Because if we don't proactively, consciously make a decision to go after the things that we want, then life gets in the way, as I've 3,000 million times heard from coaching clients. Oh, life just got in the way. Life will always get in the way. That is a promise. We have to be able to mow it down, go after what it is that we want, and we have to take a look at things. And I'm going to give you a little sketch and show you how this all works. But we have to be able to look at things that are urgent and important versus urgent, not important, urgent, not urgent, but important, etc. Those are the things we have to make a list, basically, and categorize our lives into these quadrants that he has them in his book. We'll talk about it. We have the ability to focus on what's important when we've made a decision to do so. And this helps us to become more productive. It helps us to become more effective, and it keeps us on task when it comes to our goals and achieving the things that we want to achieve. So the reason this is so important is because where your focus goes, where your attention goes, that's where your energy goes. And if your energy is all focused on all the wrong things and, doing super negative evaluations of yourself, for example, or others, or being up in everybody else's business rather than your own, or whatever it is, then you don't get to have the life that you want. What you're doing then is just reacting off of everything. And we need to know, how do I need to spend my time? Where do I need to focus my energy? Because that's going to give you back. You're going to reap the reward of that or the negative from that. It just really depends. Have you done an evaluation? Yesterday, we talked about using a time block sheet to figure out where all of our time is going. You can always find that at savingdata.com/time. Absolutely exquisitely important, so that we're not making the same mistake over and over again and find that our priorities are going just to the floor while everything else is getting done and you're not getting anything done. You hear what I'm saying on that? So how do we do this? Well, the first things first is to identify what your priorities are. What are your long-term goals? What are your values? Do your values line up with your long-term goals? And what activities are you doing to help promote those things, right? You should evaluate every activity. Does this promote this goal? Is this going to help me to get what I want? Is this creating the vibrancy that my heart expects, right? How often have we been disappointed and saying, why isn't it working out? What's going on here? And if we were to be truthful and honest and really get into it, we would see that our activities and what we're talking about and what we're actually doing and don't at all line up. That's where the rubber hits the road. Lincoln, you're not going to do that right now. Come here. Lincoln, come. I told you. He insisted on staying here with me, and now if you see the camera bopping up and down, it's him flopping his body on the floor and getting back up and flopping and getting back up. I'm telling you, it's men. He's a boy. This is how it is. Number 2 is understanding the difference between urgency and importance. This is crucial. We have to look at this because, okay, so I'm going to show you this right now. I hope this is helpful. Can you see that? Okay, so quadrant 1 is right over here. Urgent and important. Quadrant 2 is not urgent, but important. This is where he says we need to spend all of our time. And I've got examples for this, right? And then quadrant 3 is over here. Urgent, but not important. And then quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. This basically is what we call wasting our time, right? This is endless Facebook scrolling. This is doom scrolling on your phone. This is getting sucked into the matrix that we don't want to. Nope, you're not doing that. Come here. Come here. Sit. Sit. Down. Down. Down, Lincoln. Okay, now stay. Quit your whining. No whining in my presence. Thank you very much. Okay. So examples of this. Quadrant 1 would be the urgent and important. Like there's a crisis. You get a call. So-and-so's in the hospital. What is that? That's urgent. It's important. You drop everything, you go, right? Versus quadrant 2, this is urgent, not urgent, but important. This is your planning. This is the steps that you have, the action steps that you need in order to accomplish your goals. This is relationship building stuff. This is your personal development, your meditation, your time in your journal, the time to develop yourself to become vibrant. All massively important, not urgent. The house isn't going to burn down because of it, but massively important. And then quadrant 3 is urgent, but not important. This is interruptions like you got to take the dog out right now, right? You got to take the dog out for a walk. It's just something that you've got to do. Maybe there's a phone call your mother called. You got to talk to your mom and just kind of reassure her, especially if she got some kind of I have a girlfriend right now that's doing this with her mom. I used to do it all the time with my mom. They said, if I don't do this, honey, they're going to come and, they're going to take my social security check or something, some scammer. Well, again, that is urgent, but not important. And we just need to take care of it. Keep care of it. So Amber might make a pretty sheet for that grid. Oh, I know Amber could be talked into that. Amber, put it on the list. She's behind the wheel today, by the way. Jenny is on the road this afternoon, but she'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure she's making notes. So what we are doing then is we got to take a look at all these quadrants, because the quadrants are the way that we can evaluate the way we're spending our time. Is it a priority or is it not? What quadrant would it go into? So the main focus he says, is we need to be focused on quadrant 2. It's not urgent, but it's massively important, because the massively important things are the things that move the needle in your life, that create the vibrancy that you want. Yeah, I mean, Julie, you could put meal planning. You don't have to plan your meals in that quadrant, but meal planning as part of your planning, yes. What is part of your planning? What things do we need to plan? We need to plan how we're allocating our time. So time at the gym, for example, time walking the dog, time to have relationship stuff with your spouse or significant other, time to do things that are going to promote your goals in your life, whatever they are. And that's, yes, but I mean, you're not going to be taking that quadrant and writing out a meal plan for the week. It's just the headline, so to speak. So we focus on quadrant 2 because this contributes to the long-term mission and goals that you have. It absolutely underlines your values, and it gives you vision for what it is that you want to accomplish, doesn't it? And then number 4 is you got to plan your time, though, and that's just what I was talking about. We have to allocate our time. We don't have endless time. Every single day has 24 hours in a day, and every single person is given the exact amount of time. We still have to start with the things that we need to subtract out, right? We've got our work hours, we've got our sleep hours, we've got food prep, we've got all of these. And then how many hours are left? How many hours are left? This is why I have like what I consider my golden hour first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning. My golden hour first thing in the morning is I get up and I do my thing, get the coffee done and and do my little 4-minute workout, my meditation, my journaling, vision boarding or visualization, breath work. And then usually I get out and I go, if I'm going to go play pickleball, I go play pickleball, or I head to the gym. Or most of the times I can do both of it because I have, a league that I play in for pickleball, and there's a gym right there, and that's what I use. So I get that stuff all done. I feel good about that. It's getting those good things done. I mean, making the bed, first accomplishment of the day. Like, remember, we talked about that last week. But the priorities are in place when we reserve that time. That golden hour for me is just, it makes or breaks my day. Get it done. Have it just be the first thing. Now, there's other people who say, but I'm so much better at night. Okay. If you can do it better at night, all right. But it doesn't really set you up for the day because then you go sleep on it. But this is why I like to train people into not being night owls. Number one, it's better for your body. Number two, it's going to set you up for the day, and you get to, you get the dopamine hit from doing things well from that very first hour of the day. All those things that you've accomplished, and it's just still early in the morning. It's pretty phenomenal. So one of the other things is when they say is, now he's eating bugs, y'all. He's running around biting on bugs, Lincoln. But the other thing that we do is when we're planning our time and our day and whatever, we're writing out our goals. We do it in an intentional I am kind of a way with affirmations, and we record our wins. We put everything down and take back your life journal. If you haven't, used this yet, this is only, believe it or not, this is only for 12 weeks, but it's 12 weeks that can change your life. Because the 12 weeks train us into this kind of a system of, we don't have quadrants, but we're definitely using the second quadrant principles of making sure that we're not living in a knee-jerk kind of a reactive type of way. We are proactive, and we are going after what it is that we want to vibrantly create in our lives. It's that simple. It's that simple. And this is how you program your brain to do it. This is how you set yourself up. These are just things that can get done. And, there's always going to be an excuse on why you can't do it, by the way. Life will always get in the way. But you choose, Nobody's going to be sitting there and patting your hand on your deathbed and saying, I know, honey, you wanted to do so much more, but life just got in the way. Nobody is. We just have to make decisions in our lives about what it is that we want, and we need to go after that. That means there's going to be a heck of a lot of saying no's to things. That means there's going to be a turning down of someone who's begging you for a favor. There's a lot of people out there who want to take advantage of you, by the way. And if they've always used you as their, welcome mat, well, that's on you. You have the right, you have the ability, you have the intelligence, the wherewithal, all the things to put together a very succinct answer. No. And you got to learn to say no, because if you don't learn to say no, you're going to find yourself saying yes, and you'll be angry about it. You'll be bitter about it. And all you do is collect more trauma. It's traumatizing. We've all, I had this conversation last week. We've all grown up with some kind of childhood trauma. No one is immune. Some people a lot worse than others. I'm not going to sit here and say, let's compare traumas, but let's just understand that trauma is a part of it, because we're raised by imperfect people being raised by imperfect people. Right? And they come with their own bag of stuff, their own stuff. But the problem is that we get into that and we don't understand how we can get away from that until we understand that it's all about the decision. What is your decision? My decision is no to the things that do not bring vibrancy into my life. My decision is I need to stick up for myself. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to say to me, oh, Leanne, don't do that. I know you've got your priorities. I want to make sure that I'm honoring to them. No. They're going to go after it and after me and say, hey, I need, could really use, can you just do? No, ma'am, I can't. And no, ma'am, I won't. And let me just tell you this. You have the right to do the same thing too. And it's not because you're a B word. a witch with a bee. That's not it at all. It's a woman with boundaries. And a woman with boundaries will be respected. There you go. That's it in a nutshell right there. And when you're a woman with boundaries, Lincoln, give me a break. When you're a woman with boundaries, then you are in charge of your life. You make the decision who comes and who goes. You make the decision on, is this a priority or is this not one? You make the decision about the whole thing. And when you do, you make the decision to move the needle in your life. Nobody else is going to do it for you. It's all about you and your decisions and your choices and how it is that you've set things up. How are you going to plan this stuff? Or are you just going to, as soon as one person opens their mouth and says, but I need you to help me with that, are you going to allow them to just come in and just ruin your entire day? Their emergency isn't your problem. And I'm not saying don't help anyone out. I am just saying that there's times when that's going to happen. That falls into the quadrants, doesn't it? Right? There's like an urgent but unimportant thing. What would that be? Like, you've got to answer that phone. It's your mom. You got to help her, figure this out. But it doesn't mean that you drop everything, run over to her house, reset her router, do everything. Just say, Mom, unplug it and I'll be over later when I can. I used to do this with my mother all the day. And she was the biggest hand wringer on the planet. And I would have to, she kind of had this weird expectation toward the end of her life that I would drop everything and just run over because I was close. And it was like, no, it's going to happen like this. This is how this is going to work, Mom. And when I did it, she started to respect that in me. And she said, oh, I know you have a lot going on. I'm happy to help, but I have to do it on my schedule. And so do you, if you're to have the life that you want to have. Because we have to identify our priorities. We have to understand the difference between urgent and important, don't we? We also have to focus on the important, because the important is the thing that is going to make our hopes, our dreams, our goals come true. That's where the action is. That's where all the movement happens. And then if we're planning our time correctly, and if we're training our brains, yes, please train your brain. Because it's not about having the perfect plan, y'all. If it was, we wouldn't have an epidemic of obesity in this country. We wouldn't have people just sitting on their duffs, not exercising, not working out. We wouldn't have all the things that are going on in this world where people are just, in such poor health. I was reading a thing this morning about if people would just take these certain supplements. I'm going to do probably a blog post on this, but just some very basic supplements and how that will completely change things and make it so maybe they're not on so many pharmaceuticals. Why not? Why don't we look at these things? Well, we do if we understand that long term, this is the way we need to be thinking, and that our planning needs to be going toward things that create vibrancy. And I'm sorry, but the biggest underlying foundational thing is your health. Because what fun is life if you can't move? What fun is life if everything hurts all the time? What fun is life if you have to bow out from any kind of an activity because you can't? Well, I've got an answer to that. It's not. It's not. And we have the opportunity at every single day as we wake up to create the exact life that we want to live. And if we do it based on our values, based on our priorities, based on things that are important, not urgent, but important, then we're going to see our way to making these things happen. Just take a look at how it feels to follow a plan that you've put together. It feels amazing. It feels amazing. You stop kicking yourself all the time, right? You start seeing things in a way that's different. Like, yeah, I'm going to get this done. Today I was, I had this pickleball lesson, and I was going to go into the gym after and get my workout knocked out. And honestly, I was just so tired and so hungry. I said, I'm just going to listen to my body. I'm going to go home. I'm going to eat a little something, And now, when I'm done and we have a staff meeting afterwards, I'm going to go right to the gym and get that done because I made a promise to myself. And I think if we start looking as our priorities as our promises to ourselves to create that kind of a life, then we're going to see things massively shift and massively change. But it doesn't happen unless we train our brains to accept this, that this is the way that we do things. Yeah? So if you learned to say no yet, have you? You practice with me? Let's do it together. Ready? No. 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 But thanks for thinking about me. Thanks for asking. No, can't do that this time. I've got other things going on. I'm sorry. I really hope you get these things worked out. That's just not going to work for me. No. You see how that is? You don't have to be awful about it. You just have to be very strict about that boundary. And then the last thing you need to do is you have to regularly reflect. How's this going? How's this working out for me? Am I keeping my priorities in place? Or am I just letting them fall apart just as soon as somebody calls me up on the phone? Or am I really going forward with what it is that I say that I want? Are my words matching my actions? And are my actions getting me toward my goals? Are my goals being achieved? Because that's what priorities do. Priorities don't stand in the way, they make the way. They make the way. Even with obstacles, even when life happens, even when all this stuff is blah, 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 blah. Hey, Linda. This happens. And there's Elaine. Hi, Elaine. I didn't say hi to you earlier. It happens. Priorities can get easily schlepped to the carpet, under the carpet, if you let them. But if you stand up for yourself, you are standing up for your vibrancy. You're standing up for the life that you want, and you are creating it simply by saying no. That's really powerful. That's what priorities do. And you need to remember too that this is trying to figure all of this stuff out. What is that? It takes time. It's a habit. That's what Stephen Covey called it. It's one of the 7 habits. And when we understand this, we can start filtering out a little bit faster. Priority, not urgent. This is important, not urgent. Right? This is important. I can get this done. No, your urgent thing isn't my priority. My priorities are here. I already have them. Thank you very much. So think about this today as we're discussing all of this. Think about it and think about how am I in alignment with what I say are my priorities? Is it showing up in my life? Is it showing up in the things that I do? The things that I say, are they showing up in the things that I do? That's where the alignment is. And when you do that, that's when you start to feel really good. That's when momentum is developed. That's where you're feeling, like little self-congratulations there. It develops motivation. It helps you stay the course. It gives you persistence, all the things, and the resilience to keep going, because it's consistency that creates habit. And when we can do that, then we're on top of the world. We are the queens of our own lives, and things just go vibrantly. Ta-da. You got to be here for tomorrow. It's Wise Women's Wednesday, of course. And boy, do I have something to add to the equation on this. If you found today helpful, well, you know what? Share this with someone, would you? I never ask you to do that, but why not? Share it with someone, because we want to make sure that we are touching as many people as we can. This is an important message. There's a lot of women out there that do not feel empowered at all, that feel kind of helpless. And all I'm saying to you is you can be as powerful as you want to if your priorities are in place. Yeah? Alrighty. Peace be with you. It's, oh my goodness, Liz, I haven't seen you in a while. Gisela, it's good to have you here. And Patricia, my goodness. Old people. I don't mean old people, but people I haven't seen in a long, long time. So good to see you. Thank you so much for showing up today. And don't forget about tomorrow, Wise Women's Wednesday. We're going to be talking about some more juicy tidbits, and boy, you're going to love it. I can't wait to see you. Peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.